Hi guys, and welcome back. This is a quick look at the Frog Lube CLP lubricant cleaning solution, rust prevention product. Really like it a lot. I've used it on my Rhino, very simple to use, and I must say that I'm thoroughly impressed. Now, I don't want to make this just about the Frog Lube. I also want to get to something else regarding the Rhino itself. So this is like a two-for video, two-in-one type of thing. I actually took apart my Rhino and try to, get into the inners of it. If you own a Rhino, if you're looking into getting a Rhino, a Chiappa Rhino firearm, you will probably have noted or will note that they highly recommend you stay away from opening the gun to try to get to the insides of it. And the reason why is because it's this highly complex system, and has many moving parts inside of it. So they don't recommend you do it on your own unless you're an experienced gunsmith or are directly a gunsmith for Chiappa, that works for Chiappa. So with that in mind, this is how this came to be. I actually don't ask me why. I just felt like I can't be that difficult. I did some research on it. I looked online at a lot of images. There's not much out there, by the way. Pretty much the same thing that comes into and in with the manual of the Firearm is what I found online. But it's interesting, to say the least, that I actually decided to go through with it, and I did. So if you own a Rhino or are looking for one, you will note, and let's first obviously make this safe. As you can see, it is loaded. I have some 357 mags inside, so I don't want anybody to freak out that I'm working with a loaded gun. Alright, which by the way, I actually found ammo. Can't believe it. I found 357 Magnum, I found 9mm, so I'm really psyched about that. The downside to it is that the price for the 357 ammo and the 9mm was exactly the same. That kind of sucked. But hey, I found ammo. So that's very good news. Now that local gun shop, by the way, so that's another plus right there. Anyways, it's safety checked. There's nothing there. That's how a revolver looks when it's empty. There's nothing in the chamber. Yada, yada, yada. Alright. So down here on the Rhino, you have this little screw. You remove that, and that's how your grips come out. Once you remove the grips, you'll have a little short, little snubby part of the frame, and it has these screws here, plus I think another 3 inside the snubby part of the frame. Those are the ones that they recommend you never touch or remove. This plate out here. The minute you remove that, you gain access to the insides, to the guts of the gun. Okay? And yeah. The reason why they say don't do it is because the minute you pop that plate out, there is a spring wound up right there, a tension spring, that holds, I believe, the hammer, the internal hammer, because remember, this gun does not have an external hammer like a regular revolver would. This right here is just a lever that activates or actuates the internal hammer. So when you pull this lever back, oh sorry, I forgot to close that cylinder. Alright, here we go. When you pull it back, alright, notice that it goes right back to the original position. Yes, the gun is in single action, but no, the hammer does not stay back because the hammer is located internally. So anyways, that spring, the minute you take this out, that spring just boom, just comes flying out of the firearm. And that is why they recommend you don't take it out, because the minute it comes flying out, all the other parts that are there kind of held together will lose that tension and they just will go all out of place. So once again, crazy me, I went ahead and did it anyways. Yeah, I mean, quite an experience. As you can tell, it survived. I understand this revolver a lot more now that I've taken it apart and put it back together than before. Very complicated, very complex little internals of this firearm. But I must say that it was worth it. I don't recommend it for anybody. If you're, I guess, somewhat savvy with guns and you have a few hours to spare, that's how long it took me. Of course, I'm not a gunsmith, so that's why it took me that long. If I were a gunsmith, if I were to have known how to operate the internals, then yeah, it would have taken me a lot less. Now I can probably take it out and put it back together in 5 minutes. Nah, maybe not that little, but I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And so yeah, it blew me away. It really did. Now, where does this tie into the frog lube? Well, just so happens that the day that I did this, I also received the frog lube for the first time. I bought the frog lube primarily because I wanted a product that smelled clean, that I can use inside my home without my wife screaming about how much it stinks. And once again, I live in an apartment, so I don't have a garage or anything of that sort. Whoa! I do have, however, a little patio area, so that's usually where I would do my gun cleaning with the previous products, so my wife doesn't get all upset about the smells and whatnot. But yeah, so frog lube, I did a lot of research on it. I was thoroughly impressed. I went ahead and purchased it, and I'm still thoroughly impressed after I have used it. It's very simple to apply. You heat your gun up with a heat gun, with a hair dryer. If you have a wife or any females live in your home that are in their teenage years or older, you'll definitely have a hair dryer for sure. So you can heat the gun up that way. And as a matter of fact, in the instructions that come with the actual product, the frog lube, it'll tell you that you can even use heat from the sun, as you can see right there. So that's another way. You can put the gun out in the middle of the sun and let the sun heat it up for you. Once it's hot to the touch, once the entire frame of the gun is hot to the touch, and by the way, it's safe on wood and plastic grips. They don't recommend it on, I think, rubber grips. Is what they don't recommend it on. You can put this on nylon, plastics, polymer, metal, wood, and it'll work just fine. But anyways, once you heat it all up, you apply it. I personally, for this one, I used a toothbrush. So I applied it and waited a few minutes. How many minutes? Probably 3 minutes, probably less than that. And I used the rag that it came with. All right, it came with this little, oh, that's bright on the screen. It came with this little, oh God, I can't get the name of this type of material. Microfiber, there you go. Microfiber cloth that it came with, and wiped it all down. This is pretty much the dirt that came out of it, if you can see it there on camera. And that's it. Of course, you'll go through the barrel. You'll go through each individual cylinder on your revolving chamber. So, yeah. So once again, how does it tie in? I keep going back in circles. Once I removed all this, there was a lot of lube and my old residue lubes that I used to use before, and gun cleaners mixed in with all the gunpowder and stuff that gets inside that area. And I was able to clean that thing to almost a brand new condition. So it was worth it. It was worth it because I learned a lot about the internal functions of the gun, revolver, firearm, whatever you want to call it. And I also learned, that it does accumulate quite a lot of the old chemicals that you're running through it. So yeah, I'm not afraid to do it anymore. In the future, maybe, I don't know, a couple of months down from now, after I've shot this, a dozen more times, then yeah, I will pop it back out again and I'll know how to put it back in. A lot of small little moving parts, but not too complex. I will say the one area that I did not mess with, because I didn't take it out every single part that's inside, is the trigger assembly. The trigger assembly looked, if everything else looked complex, the trigger assembly looked extremely complex. So that I definitely left alone. I did not feel like it was worth it. Besides, it's just a small little section right here, and I didn't want to mess with that headache of trying to figure that out. It probably would have taken me a couple more hours. I took out the cylinder where the actual ammunition is held by the gun. I took all this out. I took it out from the frame, all of that. I took the false hammer out. And the other reason why I actually ventured into trying to take it out, aside from wanting to learn from it and whatnot, I wanted to fix this. If you guys recall, last time I did a video on this one, the release lever for the cylinder is stuck. When I first bought the gun, it actually would go back up on its own after you release it. Now it does not. It's hard. And I've learned why. I was not able to fix it, but I've learned why, and I'll explain. It kind of just sits in there. Once you remove all the other parts around it, it kind of sits in there. And when I dropped it, or when I had dropped it in the ground, as you can see, there's a chip there that came out of it. But what it did is that it actually bent the metal for the lever, because it's metal, not plastic. And once it did that, it lost the integrity of the actual way that the lever functions. So it's not that it's not operating. It does what it's supposed to do. It releases, and when you close it back up, if you push it up again, it'll catch in there. But it's just not the way it is. So I try to bend it out of, into shape again, and I tell you that it was quite a bit of a waste of time because, yeah, I was not able to do it. Once it loses that manufacturer shape as it comes in when it's original in the box, it's hard to get it back to where you want it to be. So I put it back together and didn't mess with it anymore. However, you can order any of these parts from Chiappa direct, so that's what I plan on doing down the road. Right now, it's not bothering me. It's my my revolver, my firearm, so I'm not planning on giving it away or anything or selling it. So that's why I'm not in a rush. But I do plan on ordering this cylinder release lever, and I think that's all I really need. It's just one piece, just one solid piece right here. So I'll probably replace it myself when it does come in. That's very fairly simple to do. And that's it, guys. I don't want to prolong this video more than this time. But yeah, definitely highly recommend Frog Lube. Smells like mint. It's edible. It's biodegradable. It's once again, it's a cleaner, it's a lubricant, and it's a rust inhibitor all in one product. It comes in a paste and a liquid form. I tried the liquid form, however, I was not thrilled with it. So I'm not too crazy. I'll probably use this in knives. The one that I was really impressed with, believe it or not, is the paste. The paste, oh my goodness, this thing, I feel like throwing it on my ice cream or something. I mean, this thing smells, number one, extremely great, just like the just like the liquid form does. But it's just the amount that you have to use is so minimum that it's just worth it. This thing will last me, maybe not forever, but it'll last me, I don't know, maybe a couple of months for sure. So it's not something that you're going to be replacing every day or every 2 days or anything like that. This thing will last you a long time. This is the 8-ounce version of it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 8 ounces. And this one here is a 4-ounce liquid form. Once again, I'll try to use this one on my knives, and I'll use this one on my guns. I think I'm never going to go back to any other cleaning product because of the way that it actually works. I mean, it just really works. And supposedly, once you start heating the gun again in your range time, when you take it out to the range, the heat from the gun itself will automatically cause the metal to expand, the pores of the metals to expand, and the lube to work even better. As a matter of fact, I recommend that when you're done shooting at the range, right after you're done, throw a patch, a little cotton patch, right through the barrel and maybe even the cylinders as well. That way you could automatically clean it. So it cleans the gun as you're shooting it because the heat allows the product to turn into a lubricant form once again. Right now, the gun is dry. You can't tell that it even has any lubrication on it, which I really, really like. But the minute you heat the gun up, you'll see that it'll turn into this little sweaty background area, and that's when you can wipe it down. So at that point, you can finish from the range and clean your gun all at the same time, and not have to worry about sitting there and breaking it all apart and adding all these sprays and lubricants afterwards. I mean, Frog Lube does it all. No, they're not paying me. I don't know anybody from Frog Lube. I just know that I reviewed all the information that I could from the internet, forums, my own research, the company itself, videos on YouTube, and I decided to go ahead and give it a try, and that's why I believe in it, because I've tried it and it works. So if you're looking for a nice cleaner for your firearms and for your knives, highly recommend Frog Lube. That's it, guys. Thank you for watching.